Hi, this is Catherine Raaker of Let's Just Talk, and our guest today is Brad Dare of iMarketing, my major website guy who I depend upon so much because we have been with you. I'm trying to remember when I first, because your father had the business.
Right. He had it started when I was 10, so it could be anywhere from
I think it was
then,
2003 or 4 when or maybe 4 or 5 when I went on board with him, and maybe even 2005. Right?
That makes sense, yeah.
And I want to welcome you to our show. I'm excited to be there. I mean, we've done so much over the last year, right, Brad?
Yeah.
How long ago did you start with your dad?
Well, I started when I was 10, back when he had kind of started
Really?
everything up. Yeah. I learned how to do HTML and all the like design and coding stuff from then through high school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me, how difficult is programming?
It can be pretty difficult, but other times it can be pretty simple. It just depends.
Right. So, did you go on to college and do it or not, or did you?
Sure, he wished I would have.
You wish you would have. Okay.
He actually signed the paperwork for me to sign up for the military about a month before I turned 18.
So you went into the military.
Yeah.
So you're a military veteran.
I am.
Well, that's wonderful.
It was U.S. Navy, 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah, nuclear engineering.
Oh, wow.
USS Enterprise, CVN 65.
That's great.
Yeah, that was fun.
My cousin was a nuclear submarine captain.
Oh, that's awesome.
And one of the new organizations that we have, we need to get you involved in. Actually, we need to get you signed up with them. It's called VIDOL, VIDOL.org, and you can look that up. It's a veterans organization that stands up for the Constitution, and we want other veterans to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
And because what would we do without you guys and gals? True. So you were in the military for 6 years.
I was.
And then did you go to work for your dad full time then, or what happened? Because your brother worked for your dad too.
Yeah,
the
he
whole
did.
family, I think.
My dad had so many different companies and stuff that we all kind of worked in and out of them intermittently. When I got out of the military, I was in bands. I was in touring bands as well.
You're a musician as well.
Yeah. So I did that for a while throughout the military stuff and after. But I did come and work for my dad for about a year. I did bottleless water coolers. I would go and like make sure they were serviced right, or take them out to places, pick them up.
Right.
And that was just one of the other businesses that he had that I worked in.
So how many businesses did he have over the years? Do you remember? Because I didn't even know he had all these other businesses. I thought he just had the web business, but go ahead.
Yeah, he did the web business. He had a tanning salon.
Wow.
That he had since I was 3. I'm 31 now, so it was a while. He had the Aqua Renew, which turned into buywatercoolers.com, which was what I did with the water coolers.
Right.
And then he went into Green Thumb, which is like little succulents, wholesale to like Whole Foods and things. And now he's doing Bitcoin mining and
oh no,
creating the whole thing around that. So
wow.
Yeah, and
he got married again.
Well, he did. Not even a year ago.
Really?
About 6 months ago, I think.
Wow.
6 or 7.
Now, is your mom still alive?
She is, yeah.
Right. Married?
Yeah. She remarried when I was like 1. I think,
really?
or 3, my bad, when I was 3.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So I've had my stepdad around forever, too. But yeah, and actually we just bought my dad's house a year ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Because he moved over to this side of town?
He did, actually. I took the same exit in the same directions to get here as I would to get to his place.
Well, your dad and I actually, he was introduced to me by Walt Luthi, who was a partner with him for a while. And so he recommended Mark, and then Mark joined my referral organization, and we've been friends ever since. I don't get to talk to him much anymore.
I don't either.
You don't either. So anyhow, and I bet, since he's gotten married, he's on this side of town.
He is, yeah. It's a little bit of a drive compared to where he was before. But
was he in Fairfield before?
He was. Same with iMarketing. But now it's out in Westchester with me. And I mean, my dad moved to Milford, then over here, so it's been quite a
weird.
drive over
It's
the
wild.
time. Yeah,
So
last
now
year.
your offices are in Westchester now,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But most of the time you never, a lot of times you don't meet the people that you do the work for, do you?
It's about 50-50, I'd say.
Because I give you stuff from out of town too.
Right, yeah, and pretty much anything out of town, unless they come through or whatever, I never see them.
You never meet them.
We can do some Skype stuff,
Right.
and I obviously can talk on the phone, but I never actually see them face to face. The other half is all networking around the area, and so I've either already got a relationship with them or know someone that does, and
Right.
so I'm able to kind of work that a little better.
Well, we used to belong to all the chambers with our relocation magazine. And so, we know a lot of people in the region. But because of all my travels, Brad, I know people from all over the world. And they first asked me, who does your website? Hello, I get to say, I'm marketing, right? And so, and now our business has grown in different ways all the way around.
Right.
So radio was really the hottest thing for me, right?
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah.
And actually, you get a lot of stuff out of that radio advertisement that we did.
Yes,
And
we
we
do.
did a new one. He did,
Yep.
and Matt's really good. That's Matt.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And so anyhow, he's quite good at what he does. But tell me what you really like about the business,
Really like about the business.
the WordPress, besides money.
Besides money, yeah,
Yeah.
that's an easy one, I suppose. Honestly, it's helping out other businesses. When I see, the website work well for them, or any of the marketing that we do actually succeed very well for them, and I get like the testimonials and stuff, and have them let me know, that's very helpful. It at least shows that I'm doing something worthwhile for other people,
Right.
while still maintaining the money.
We work with lots of veterans groups. I don't know if you know that or not. And we're part of the American Legion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You need to help me with that one,
Okay.
because with this new organization that we're bringing on by all veterans, the veterans group, they're actually wanting to work with all of the other groups like the American Legion and the Veterans of Foreign Wars and everything, because they want 78 million veterans to belong.
That's
That's
awesome.
a lot.
That is,
huh?
yeah.
Right. So anyhow, tell me I need to take a break first.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and we'll talk about the most challenging website you ever had to design.
Ooh,
Would that be good?
Fun.
That'd be fun. And talk about some of the things that you're going to show us
Okay.
on the people. We'll be right back on Let's Just Talk right after these messages.
Move it!
Many will hear the calling. Few will earn the title. United States Marine. The few, the proud, the Marines.
We're back on Catherine Raaker's Let's Just Talk with Brad Dare. And he's with iMarketing. He's my web designer, my web company, and has been for probably 10, 15 years now.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
That is.
Long time.
That is.
So now I'm getting ready. We were going to talk about the most difficult, challenging website you've ever had to deal with.
All right. I'm sure that the answer would be different if you asked my father, because he's had a lot longer dealing with it. But it's actually a current site. It's our own.
It's your own?
I'm not even gonna lie about that one. It's actually we're trying to update it. It hadn't been updated for a long time.
Right.
a couple years ago, it still looked like it was a 90s website. It's like the painter's house, last thing to get done, you know?
Yeah, it's always that way.
Yeah, so we're trying to update that, and it's been challenging trying to make it look as nice as we want it to while still getting across the message we need. But there's a lot of new technology that we've used a little bit here and there, and we really want to make sure we get it right so that we can use it for other people. And so our website's kind of like the demo site for that. And so any videos, any responsive designs, any parallax scrolling, things like that, it's really interesting. It looks nice.
One of the things that I really want to ask you about your website is it hadn't been done since 1990, right? In the 90s, right?
Yeah, late 90s.
What did you bring something totally different to the table than your dad, correct? Do you think like a millennial?
I'm a little bit of both. It's a little weird.
Really?
I was kind of at that tail end, or I guess the beginning of the millennial thing, so it was like in between still.
Right.
So I've got an idea of like aesthetically what we need and what image we're trying to push.
Right.
Which was never really something that the website had before. But at the same time, I still want it to be as functional as possible, as clear as possible, so that people that come to it actually can get the information they need instead of just something really flashy.
Yeah, and I think that that's the most important thing. It's the same thing like my website, because I don't know if you know that I work with publicists every single day, and we're on Shisham, which is the place where people go for radio and television shows.
Okay.
So I have probably today maybe 300 publicists that come to me every single day. So we have 3 or 4 emails, which I'd like to trim down to 1 and go through the website with it, and just change the way we do things. Because when I send out a media kit, right, it has everything. It's a PDF, and we send it out. It could be even active if we wanted it to be. And then I take them to some of the pieces that we do, so I need to update those.
Right.
So we're on everything from community access and some extremely large ones, like the one that we're on in Virginia, is actually about a $3 or $4 million facility.
Oh, wow.
That has wild, wonderful studios. They have their own radio. They have 5 million real people that watch it. They really keep the demographics, and they're wonderful to work with. So I've been with them for probably about 8 years.
Okay.
So all of these different television stations that I'm working with and radio stations, they actually want content right away, immediately, every 2 weeks, whatever.
Yep.
So that if I have to deal with the websites all the time and I have to deal with everything else, something gets missed.
Oh, of course.
True?
Course. Yeah.
So some of the ideas that you have, I'd really like to hear. Like, for instance, I think you're in my Tri-State Connection. That's my business thing. I don't know if we need all this stuff on there. What do you think?
Probably not. Yeah, I mean, if you were to do more of like a hub site,
okay,
and maybe branch off with like a page from that site instead of having all of these separate,
I agree.
That would help out a lot. I think.
Let's do that. Can we do
Sounds
that?
good.
Is that going to be hard?
No, shouldn't be.
Okay. All right. So what you mean by a hub is here's a central station, like a train station, right?
Right.
And then you have trucks that go to different things, like a bicycle wheel that has spokes in it.
Yes.
Kind of like that. I always do comparisons. So we would take like the Tri-State Connection is my business.
Right.
And it's my corporate company, right?
Right.
So it should have what?
I mean, it should have, with what you do with the networking, maybe a little bit of, like, you have the sponsors here, maybe do a little bit of promotion for some of that on it. But other than that side, really just kind of convey exactly what it is.
Like one page.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, you don't need anything branching off of that.
Right.
And you want it to be something smaller.
Yeah, I agree. So that's one of the things that I'm working on.
Oh,
So I haven't gotten to that site yet.
Right.
We started working on, with your gal, Allison. She's super. We started with the radio site first. And I went back into the back door because I know how to use WordPress now, thanks to you and Allison. and started updating pieces on the back end of it where it had been published in a certain time period. I'm updating that publishing thing.
Right.
Number one, whenever I do a change or anything, I do a change on that.
Okay.
The thing that drives me crazy is how people get on the back end of it into your comment section. Is there a way that you can prevent that from happening? I mean, as far as spam is concerned.
Spam. Yeah, there are some ways. One of the ways that we're working with that is actually moving to a new hosting company.
Okay.
We host and maintain the sites, but we have a company that maintains the servers for us.
Right.
And right now, all of your sites have been on these old servers. Moving to this, there's some security measures on them that we implement that will help with that some.
Right.
Outside of that, there are various plugins that we can use.
Okay.
That require, like, have you ever seen the "Make sure you're not a robot"
Oh, yes.
radio button?
Oh, yes.
You can have it be
Well,
that.
you had
in order to post.
a catch a one that on the front page of going into WordPress, you have to add the numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What I do every day, or maybe 3 or 4 times a day, I go into that comment section and I delete all of them.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there were 635.
Ooh.
And they were from China, Russia, and I can't believe how many countries are on there. So sometimes you feel like writing to that email and saying, okay, now I'm going to put stuff on your site, buddy. But you don't want to do that, right?
Right. Right.
Right. So that's going to help a lot. I mean, you don't really see what they it's like.
It's ridiculous stuff.
It
yeah.
is. It's like in Chinese. They do have a translation tool that you can see what it is, right?
Of course.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that really is kind of irritating. The rest of it I love. I love putting new stuff on there. And you've made it simple. Brad, can you give your website and how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's www.i-mktg, like marketing.com. And my email is just brad@i-mktg.com as well.
Right. And we'll be right back on Catherine Raaker's Let's Just Talk.
Calls me googly eyes.
You know you're beautiful, right? You know that?
Even you are beautiful. I got bullied for wearing glasses. Share if you're against bullying.
We put it out there, just took off. 3 million people have shared this post. Don't let bullies get you down. I stand with you. Our whole family's wearing glasses. I wear glasses and I'm proud.
I even have the army on my team.
All the kind comments brought my child joy. I don't feel thank you is enough.
Next.
Ballerina.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
We're back on Catherine Raaker's Let's Just Talk. And now I want you, Mr. Brad, to give us all as much as you can for our listeners and also our viewers on what you think they can do, especially if they're just brand new and they want to get a website, or they have an existing website and they're going crazy.
All right. We get these a lot, actually. Some of the best decisions you can make starting up a business and trying to get the website done is to not go and do it yourself. It's going to take up a lot of the precious time that you could use elsewhere.
Right.
And so you'd want to find a company similar to us, or us, of course, that handles mostly small business sites. It's not absorbent of fees. It's not crazy.
Right. And what do you do? So you charge how much to develop a big website?
A big website, $795.
Yeah.
And that's kind of across the board. E-commerce website would be $1,595.
Okay, so a small business that would just need 1 or 2 pages, would that be it?
Yeah, $795, as long as they're not selling anything or have like a shopping cart on it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and we tend to work with budgets of businesses as well. If that's not affordable, we'll figure something out that is.
That makes it fine. Well, I know you're going to be doing a major movie site and working with a guy that's one of my friends, Kerry Wallum.
Yep.
We had him on the show today. And he's got some pretty cool stuff on that you're working with, right?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see.
Is that going to be the biggest site you've got, or is there another one that's bigger than that, or it's going to be bigger than that?
Well, as far as a brochure site goes, one that doesn't sell stuff, it might be up there as to one of the bigger ones. The e-commerce sites are naturally larger just because of all the product pages and having to handle all of that.
Right, and I do have some commerce on mine because people want to purchase advertising or they. But you know what I'm finding out a lot? I'm selling a lot of stuff on Square.
Yeah, we use PayPal for a lot of people that don't want to put a card on it.
Right. Well, here's the thing that I've noticed that it's become easier, safer to do it that way.
Yeah.
And I always include what it costs me so that I get the amount that I need.
Yep.
You know, so and they don't seem to mind doing that.
No, a lot of people are totally okay as long as you're transparent about it. It's fine. Right. Another thing you want to make sure of when you're doing stuff like that is the security of the site. And it's something that we offer for free. A lot of places will charge $200 or $400 for, and that's an SSL certificate, and that's what gives the website's address the HTTPS instead of just HTTP. Google looks at that; it helps boost you in the rankings and stuff. But also, browsers nowadays will actually point out if it's not secure. And so you have to go through an extra page to get there.
Well, that's what that's what happened the other day. I was getting all these plugins. I noticed that was happening, so I called my guy to fix it. And the other thing that you put on my website, or your dad did a long time ago, was that thing that we talked about, I'm not a robot.
Yeah, the CAPTCHAs.
Or the CAPTCHA sign. And it says it at the very top, right? Secure. Usually, that's the way it should look.
Yeah.
So, and then I got some backup to clean my computer or to back up my computer every night, which I think is a really good idea.
Yes.
So tell me what your goals are, Brad, for the next year.
Okay. For the next year, we're looking at 50 websites.
Wow.
We've already got 20 coming in.
Great.
My wife does sales for us, and she's been doing an amazing job.
I know that your wife is now part of your team.
Yeah.
And I try to be part of your team because I believe that you are really, really, really good at your job.
Thank you.
And I think we had a good turnout at the referral meeting the other day, too.
We did.
And they are jumping on you.
Oh, yeah. I've got a meeting set up this coming week with a couple of them.
I know, and that's good. I think that they really need that. They need guidance, right?
That's a big thing with websites. You really got to have that guidance.
I want to thank you for our client, Cynthia Fabian. She loves you.
No problem.
She really needed someone that was going to hold her hand, and that's important. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
Customer service.
Yes, my father built a company on customer service. He gave out his cell phone so it was ringing all the time, but he always made time to make sure that the clients were taken care of. And that's something that we still feel is very important. If I can't answer it immediately, if I'm in a meeting or something, because we have been getting a little busier, I get right back to them, or I have Ashley give them a call and take care of it.
That's good.
We have people that, like our designers, are in direct contact with the clients. We don't have any in-betweens, no go-betweens. So if you need something changed, you can just call the designer, email them. She can get it done within the day. I mean,
she's really, really, really good. I had to change a couple things at the last minute last night, and she was just right spot on there. And that's what I like. I like the customer service that I get, that I can reach you, because it used to be years ago when everything was HTML and not Word. Your dad is the one that talked me into going into WordPress, and it was the smartest thing that he could have ever done for me.
WordPress definitely revolutionized a lot to do with the internet. It made it a lot more accessible for people.
Well, when there's things on HTML that I have to call Ashley about, she's really good, or I can call you and ask you to do the same thing.
Right.
So, and in my world, everything changes like in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
I
I'm always
understand
constantly changing things, and but the nice thing is that she's taught me enough about WordPress, and you have too, that I can go in there, like for our radio shows, which we have to update all the time, and get it done.
Right.
Like today, I have to change something really fast after this television show, and it'll be up there immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I had the wrong person on. Oh, well, at least I can fix it.
Right.
Right. And that makes a difference. Tell me some of the new things that are going to be happening this year as far as websites.
We're going to be updating our themes that we used for WordPress to more modern themes, nicer looking stuff.
Okay.
They're going to be able to do a lot more. And then we're also using Weebly for some of the smaller sites, which is going to allow us to finish them faster. Still very professional, but it'll be probably less expensive than even what we're already offering. So.
Okay. And how much do you charge per month to take care of the site?
For maintenance and stuff, that's $47.95 or somewhere around there, change wise. But yeah, that includes maintenance, that includes hosting, it includes email support, domain name renewals, all sorts of adding pages, taking pages away, content changes.
Right. And the other thing is that if you want them to do it, have you do it. You just send them the changes. If you don't want to learn WordPress and get in the back of it,
exactly.
That's what you can do, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why we offer that.
Well, that sounds so exciting to me. I can't wait to see the new sites. You're showing me all kinds of different things today.
Yeah.
So we need to take a break, Brad, and when we come back, let's look at each page of my website and decide what we're going to do, how we're going to cut it out, and make it really strong.
Sounds good to me.
Okay? We'll be right back.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
Yeah, but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome,
I think we're breathtaking.
and here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that Bran? Colleges love extracurricular activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Go ahead. Picking a college, man. You and us. We go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
No more, it's none of my business.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, not my problem.
No more, she was flirting with him.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, boys will be boys.
No more, I'll say something next time.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
We're back on Let's Just Talk with Brad Dare of iMarketing. And Brad, during the break, we went and looked, and you were going to show our different website pages now. And so we went through my whole website, correct?
Yes.
And I think the first one we did was my company website, the Tri-State Connection, what were your suggestions on the Tri-State Connection? Because it's got a lot of pages and a lot of old stuff on it, doesn't it?
Yeah. If I remember right, that was the one that had the archive section, right?
No, that was the radio
That was
section.
the later one.
That was the later one. The Tri-State Connection is my company, and you've got a computer right there, so why don't you just go on to that right now, because we're going to show this page, and it's just the Tri-State. You can go to KatherineRaaker.com and go right there.
Well, yeah, right?
Yeah,
That's what we're hoping to make work better.
Right. So you're on it right now, and it's got a lot of different things on it. And so I wanted to be, because when clients come to me, I take them to well, it's going to be Katherine Raaker's World.
Right.
But right now it's Katherine Raaker. Everybody knows my name, right? So what are we going to do? We're going to take and connect the Katherine Raaker's World and the Katherine Raaker to make it like
one big hub kind of feel. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So actually, I want people to see that we do not just radio and television, that we do PR and marketing, and we do many things. So it was hard, when I first came to your dad, it was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with this? Right?
Yeah.
And when I first met your dad, we were doing one TV show and one radio show.
That's right. Wow.
So Born Before 64 was actually our first show.
Oh, okay.
And because I had worked with HR people here and said, this group, there's a little tiny group beyond the Born Before 64s. And I'm in that 4 or 5 year group.
Right.
Not in a real seniors group, but I'm right there.
Right.
That's the reason why I called it Born Before 64. Get it?
Makes sense,
because if I just did boomers, I wouldn't include myself.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So what we have right now on the Katherine Raaker site is that we've taken different pictures of me in different settings, right? And made that the go-to page.
Right.
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 So you can go there and you can click on each one of those logos and go into those
the individual sites. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how would you change that, Brad?
Well, instead of taking it to all these separate sites, I would
Right.
probably just keep it on one central site and have pages of that site devoted towards those sections, depending on how big the websites are. So,
right. So, like, for instance, the Let's Just Talk is a radio site. I think that's a biggest site. But one of the things that I talked to Allison about was getting rid of older radio shows to clean up that part and just leaving a year's worth of shows on there.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So that it makes it easier. But when I'm working with publicists and radio shows and authors and people that call me up to do whatever, they want to see their faces.
Right.
They want to know what's going on. Is there a way that we can archive some of it after a year? Or is that going to still take up a lot of space? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it would still take up a lot of space. The problem with that is that if you were to even just archiving it so you can't see it all the time here, it's still going to have space on the server.
Right.
And so it would still take up that space. However, some things that you might be able to do...
is do a backup?
Possibly. You could use other sites such as... like if you've got the radio show, you could use YouTube for some extra storage. So like you have the show running on YouTube.
Right.
And it wouldn't have to be hosted at the site. So for the archive stuff, you could do that.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that would help reduce the memory of it all and how much space it's taking. Yeah, I mean, as far as what you were saying about like seeing their faces and stuff, but... we could still keep the blog like that with all the faces, everything popping up. You connect to Facebook in order to promote it and everything, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, the thing is that the radio site is really my bread and butter.
Yeah.
And that's where I get all my authors and all of the entertainers.
Right.
So, we've had everybody from, some of the top groups in the country, and I've had famous chefs, on our shows, and people like that. So they want to see their face on there. They want their bio.
Right.
And then, I try to hyperlink it to their website, right?
Right.
And then just give the sponsors the glory that they need. That's why they stay with me.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense? So I give them more than other radio shows do. I have a whole package that we do.
Right, it's a marketing package.
It's a marketing package that includes radio and television for them.
Right.
And also they get to be an expert on my show. And if there's a media event, they get to go to it because I send them.
There you go.
Yeah.
That works. That's
Do
awesome.
you like that?
Yeah.
Well, I had to come up with a package that everybody, and I'm telling your dad, you don't know what you're getting until you do it.
Right.
And so, because if he wanted to go to the show in Chicago with me, the International Houseware Show, he could have gone.
Oh, wow.
So if you have a product or you want to promote or anything else, that's what I do for a living.
That's awesome. Yeah, with my music and all that stuff.
That's right. Right. And I do audiobooks, right?
Right.
And I do everything from helping a client like yourself, growing a company, to showing them, besides what you do, what we can do next with their company. So if you have a product like Skip Kenny barbecue sauce, right?
Right.
We can take Skip Kenny barbecue. We're now going to be in Jungle Jim's.
That's right. I remember you telling me about that. That's awesome.
Right. So then we do samplings for him. We do.
That's cool.
As a chef, I've taken his product and gone a little farther with it. Now he's got a marinade. He did this.
Ooh.
He's got a sauce for cold slaw. I mean, he's doing lots and lots of different things.
That's interesting. I didn't know he had expanded like that.
Oh, he's expanded. And on top of it, he does other things besides that. So,
gotta stay busy.
He stays busy. And there's a lot of times when people have a small business, right? They want to grow into a different segment, right?
Right.
So that's what we're doing with our website. We're helping them as well.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So with the radio program, we could cut some stuff out, okay, and maybe just have some links where they can go. What do you think?
That works, actually, very well, especially with the YouTube stuff. That would help a lot.
Okay, let's do that then. So now you've seen the radio site. What do you think about the next site, which would be we talked about the Born Before 64 site.
So Chef You and I?
The Chef You and I. Let's go there.
Let's see. Might take it a minute. It's running on my phone.
That's all right. But anyhow, the Chef You and I site basically is, that's one of our top television shows. And we're all over the world with that television show now. And I didn't know that you love to cook, so you're coming back and doing cooking shows with me. That's great, And I do a lot of stuff for diabetes, just to let you know.
Awesome.
And I also do stuff for the Kidney Foundation. We do recipes for them. We work with Next Stage, do all kinds of stuff.
That's
so
awesome.
this actual site, right, actually has information on it about our shows, recipes on it. We have recipe cards, which we're going to be introducing again out there so that people, if they don't want to print it down, we'll send them recipe cards.
That's really cool.
And sell those. And then we keep the recipes up there so they can print them out if they want to. And also we have our television shows up there.
Of course, right?
Right. So you want to promote those.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you don't, people like to watch. We also do little minute ideas. So
really?
If you've got, for instance, like I have a Swiss cheese dip.
Okay.
Which we've done on the minute thing where you speed it up. I want to put more of those up on our Chef You and I site so that you have a window, maybe you can go get them. What do you think of that?
That's a good idea. And keeping it with the minute is really interesting because it's engaging content that isn't overly long. People really enjoy that, and that'll help keep people coming back to your site.
And we do it in fast motion.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
I love that. And you know how to do that, right? Or not?
As for the video part of it?
Yeah.
I've never really messed a whole lot with that. That's Allison's wheelhouse.
That's Allison's wheelhouse. Okay, so what we're trying to do on this is really point people to the chef site, but we also, with this, send it to YouTube. So these are YouTube pieces that we put up there.
That looks familiar.
That Allison and I and Charlotte sometimes do. Okay, so those are really important because people really love this site. They love cooking. So we're a healthy reality TV show.
That's cool.
Does that make sense? Cool. And I'm not sure if we have to take a break yet. We don't. So now I've also put our sponsors up on that window. What do you think of that?
I like the idea of having them there. I think maybe, especially with like the newer modern style that we're going to be giving you,
right.
There may be a better way to do it than just a little window.
Okay.
That would grab attention but wouldn't detract too much from everything else.
Right.
And we can mess around with that a little bit, but I think there could be some interesting ways to handle that instead.
Okay, but you think the site's all right the way it is right now?
Yeah, I mean, I like it as it is right now. The only thing right now with anyone that's had a site that's over a year old even,
we need to change.
Is modern. Yeah, it needs to be updated and just look. It has that little extra flourish to it. You know?
So that's what we need to do. So if you can just do something, I really appreciate it. Okay, so let's go on to the next site, which is the the next site is the Pro site, I think. And that's my referral organization, and I've had that since 1982.
82, wow.
Before BNI. Right.
That's not something people can say too much.
No, actually, I was at a major meeting and out in California, and we were just at not a networking, it was more like a leads kind of group. And we'd come every other week, and people would throw stuff on the table, and it just didn't feel right. So that's how the referral company got started.
Cool. That's really cool.
And so anyhow, it was really fun. So do you belong to a lot of networking groups or what?
I do. That's how we do all of our marketing, which is counterintuitive.
Right.
We don't do our own internet marketing. It's too much for us, but because of word of mouth, because we do a good job and the customer service is there, network marketing works for us. So we're in a bunch of different meetings around town.
Wow. So let's give your website again, because we're going to take a short break and we're going to come right back on Let's Just Talk in a second. So give your website.
www.i-mktg.com.
And that's really a cool site. And if they want to go to your email, what do they do if they want to order? You can do it anywhere in the country or overseas, can't you?
Yes, we can. It's brad@i-mktg.com.
And we'll be right back on Catherine Raaker's Let's Just Talk.
Around the world, around the clock, in defense of all we hold dear back home, America's Navy.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
We're back on Let's Just Talk with Brad Deer of imarketing.com. That's i-mktg.com.
Yep.
And how did your dad find that originally? Do you know? Are you the youngest?
No. Luke is the youngest.
I didn't meet him yet.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
yeah. He works with Green Thumb, the other business my dad has.
Okay.
My dad, he found that name because the Apple stuff that was happening around then, the iPad, the iMac. But he liked the idea of internet marketing just being basic, you know?
Right.
And so he just abbreviated it, and here we are.
Right. I mean, it's been around for so long, and it's so easy to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So anyhow, your site itself is changing rapidly, right?
Yep.
When is do you think it's ever going to be done?
Website's
Totally.
never done.
Never done. Never done. So for the changes that I want to do, is it going to take long?
Shouldn't take too long. It's going to be longer than a normal site because you've got a lot of stuff going on.
So your suggestion is to take one page at a time, work with Allie, and get it done. And then you guys can go in and do the other stuff, right? That I can't do.
Yeah.
Okay. And come up with some suggestions of making it fresher.
Right.
Right. So on that one page that we talked about, the hub,
Yeah.
what would you suggest?
Well, let's see here. Well, obviously you're going to change the logo.
Right.
And using the colors of the logo, that's what we suggest to everyone that builds a website, that wants a website, and it maintains the brand.
Right.
Other than that, modernizing a little bit, having, instead of pictures going across, have them maybe going down, because people like the segmented feel.
They do?
Okay. It keeps the subjects separated.
Right.
And they can find what they want more quickly.
Okay.
Other than that, I like what you've got with the photos. It's just a matter of putting them into that kind of a layout a little bit differently.
Okay, you like the photos.
I do, actually. I like how it's different across it. It shows different sides of the personality.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll keep that. We'll keep those. We're actually updating and doing some more photography because I really like to keep it up. And new stuff coming on board more often. I mean, if you went into the to the Chef You and I site, right, you'll see that picture. I love that crisp look that picture has because it shows the personality. And I mean, I do a lot of stuff with nonprofits. I do catering stuff with, in the sense of, no, I auction myself off as a chef. And that's one of the pictures that we use to do it. And I let them do a television show with me when they're doing.
Oh, that's really cool.
It is cool.
That's really cool.
Do you like that idea?
That's a great idea.
And we did one a couple years ago where we had 2 doctors that came with 2 other gals that were, one was a nonprofit and the other one was an internet person and owned an internet company. And there were all 4 gals called the Knitting Club on the Rocks. Knitting Club on the Rocks.
That's cool.
Which they were a group that got together once a month, I think, and really enjoyed each other's company, and their husbands sat in the other room and played cards or did whatever. So we did a TV show with them. So like the first course, one did with me. And then the second course, we did a little thing with them. So we did little bit different pieces with them. And then they got to have the appetizers and the drinks ahead of time and all that kind of good stuff. And then a picture at the end. And that that got to be on television. So now it's kind of a thing where people want to do that. And then there's other people that don't.
Well, yeah, it's all about adding value. It really is. It's just like you have like your sponsors across these and stuff. And like when someone comes to know, they can go to, like you were saying, Chicago. And it's the added value of that. That's why we do like the customer service that we do. And it helps a lot when you can really show someone that they're getting what they need.
And some of my clients are all clients of yours now. And the wonderful thing about that is that I can call the client, then call you, and then, we just work it all out together.
Right.
And it just makes it easier, in the process of what I'm doing with their PR. Right. And there's one of the things that I want to talk about real quick, and that is when you're using social media and you're using it on your websites and stuff like that, or you're doing a press release. I just did a press release. Okay. And I want to explain this real quick with you so that people understand it. When you do a press release and you have numbers and analytics coming back, Well, we had 375,000 in 3 days that looked at that press release Pat did.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that doesn't mean if I hit a book on there, I'm going to get hit by 375,000 that are going to order my book.
No,
right?
no.
If it was about that, correct?
Right.
It's certain keywords that you use, right, to get people to come to your website. Now, tell us, I'm on Google. You've got me on Google Analytics. If you type in Catherine Raaker on Google, we come up pretty far up.
Yeah.
And how did you do that for me?
A lot of time.
A lot of time, right?
There's some research that goes into it with your content and the types of words that it should show up on. You do a good job of helping that by doing a lot of the social media stuff that you do in the blogging. Keeps it updated. Google likes to see that. But really, I mean, it's one of those just combination of everything. It's a perfect storm kind of idea. Some sites that's just not possible for. You know, you need to add some extra types of marketing in to try to push them higher because they don't do a blog themselves or don't have anyone that could do that because they aren't engaging social media the way that they should.
So this really, what I'm doing are blogs more than anything else. So I'm a blogger, right? I love it. Now I can put my name, blogger.
There you go.
So the easiest way to get onto Google, and are there other sites besides Google that help your statistics or your analytics?
Well, Google has search partners. So that means like on CNN.com, Food Network, places like that, they have a search bar at the top that's actually run by Google. So when you're using those search bars, you're using Google's search. So there are thousands of search engines, essentially, that are all tied into that. Tied into Google. So
let me ask you, when I'm doing, after we send out all of our television shows and radio shows, right? And we also have a YouTube channel, which we use a lot.
Right.
Okay. So, I mean, after sending it out and taking everybody to that, we then go into YouTube. Now, in YouTube, there is this really cool thing now that you can self-promote.
Yep.
Right. Allison knows that? Yes. Okay. Because what happens is that they want you to do something extra with a little video besides that will, like on the side, there's a little thing that has pictures, like thumb tags or thumbprints or whatever you want to call them, that you want that one picture off of that that YouTube to be the main picture.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So that's another way to do it. But now we're talking about tags down there. How do you find the right tags to click into that? Or is that impossible to say?
There's a lot of research that you've got to really know the psychology of who you're trying to get to see it, who's searching, because you need to be thinking of it from the angle of, if I were someone searching for this, what would I look at? That's the easiest way to get close to it, as opposed to looking at it from the business side of, this is what I do, so these are the words I'd want to use. So you got to look at it from the opposite angle. Like, how are clients looking for me? How are people that are interested trying to find me? What words, what terms do they use?
Right. Now, I had a company that is coming on board with us that is actually a pod that you float in. You saw that. It's not Epsom salts. It's water, minerals from China that two doctors went over. It's up on our website now, and it's with Dennis Mulholland. And we actually, if you click in here and go to our YouTube, our latest YouTube, Catherine Raaker YouTube, right, you'll see what the pod looks like. And it's a room. They have a special room in the spa that's up in Columbus where they have built the engine and the filters and everything else and the pod was built in Canada. Then the motor comes from Germany, and the technology or the minerals and everything came from China. And so if you type in Catherine Raaker YouTube right there, you'll see it. And it's something that's really, I floated in it. It's 17 more dense than the Dead Sea. It has 166 minerals. So what we do on our shows, so go to videos when you get there, I don't think you're there yet. I don't know why, but when you get, okay, so videos, just hit videos. No, videos at the top on the browser, right there, somewhere right there. I can't see without my glasses, right there. Okay, it's right there, the first one. And if you go like halfway through it, you will see the actual pod.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And her, her actually going and floating in it, and she didn't think she was going to float. Because she was very thin, right? And she went up right away.
Oh, wow.
And you go and take a shower, and you wash your hair and you get everything off of it, right? And then you go and float for 50 minutes. Au naturel, because you want to bring everything into your system. So these are the kind of things that I do all the time.
That's really cool.
And I don't know why you're not seeing it. Just takes up a little while. Right.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so that's kind of what we are doing all the time. So we want to, in the description of it, which I could have done a better job on the description, right? But there's keywords that I use, minerals, I used all different kinds of things. Is that smart?
Yeah. To a point, you want to make sure that it's not people looking for, mineral vitamins and stuff.
Right. So I have to use a certain keywords that would help you to go want to watch this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So guess what? We have talked so much and had so much fun. We want to invite you back to do a cooking show next.
Totally cool with that.
And we're going to come back in a couple months and show everybody what we've done with the website.
Sounds good.
How about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me too. And we want to thank you so much, Brad, for taking time out of your very busy day, which is really busy, and coming on our show today. And thank you so much. Go to, what's the website?
www.i-mktg.com.
And how do they get a hold of you?
Brad at i-mktg.com.
And we'll see you next time on Catherine Raaker's Let's Just Talk. Don't forget to go to our website at catherineraaker.com. We'll see you next time.